students to understand the main events of the Renaissance era. And when I mean main events, I also mean main ideas, philosophies.
And then we're going to introduce fuels. I'm just going to basically touch base on fuels a little bit.
About the students are going to give Mr. Vanderloot advice. Is that going to happen today? Or would that be
Is
that
on the tail end of the Machiavelli, there'll be 5 quotes from on there.
You've been dealing with, like, how long does, because I know nothing about a class in transportation, so how long would you have spent talking about turbo and superchargers already?
What does that mean?
The people who surround you basically define you.
Can you make an that's pretty good. That's actually really well said.
Which one will give me immediate
Supercharger, because it runs directly off your engine. What's that? Supercharger, because it runs directly off your engine.
Keyword. What was that keyword? Begins with an R? Risks. You have to take a risk if you want to be successful at something. Talk about what connections can you make with that. Can you give me an example maybe from your life or from history or from anything? Questions? Hey, I'm challenging you to think. Hey.
brief non-obstructive reaction to too late students.
Can you talk a little bit about like your larger classes, and do you have the same like rate of engagement? And if so, do you do things differently? Because I saw you moving around a lot to the different groups. So I mean, you were very present in the classroom, but do you do things differently at all, or is it more of a challenge?
It is because the dynamic of the group that I have now, 6th period, if I was here, there's 30 kids, and there are some real interesting ducks.
I'm curious more about how I can get my kids in my classroom, because my classroom's geometry, how I can get them more engaged. Because one of the students that we share checked his phone that I saw twice. Whereas in my class, he wants to check it constantly. I mean, it sits on my desk most of the time because of that.
You're constantly moving around, and I know in my own classroom, with the situation with my tables, and if I could shuffle the tables more often than I do, and I do tons of group work, but just, you're constantly having the kids moving. You know, there's certain days when I do, but if I could just add more to my